Today's feel-good food is fish canapés. We're going to make two, but to kick things off, we're going to do a tomato consommé with a crab and fennel crème fraîche.
Nice.
Really impressive, but lean at the same time. Very little fat. We're using low-fat crème fraîche, and the rest is all just vegetables.
How do we get started? We
get started by taking a whole load of cherry tomatoes, one stick of celery, one shallot we've peeled, just halved, one clove of garlic, and some fresh basil leaves, and putting it all into there.
Okay, brilliant. That does look like a whole field's worth of tomatoes.
It's a lot of tomato, but we're going to make basically a bit like a gazpacho. Crank our lid back on.
Yep.
And blend up with just a little bit of liquid, white wine, a couple of tablespoons of that, and a splash of Lea & Perrins Worcestershire sauce.
Now, where would you use this recipe, do you reckon?
This is if you've got a canapé kind of party or prince coming around, just some nibbly bits, something to impress, or you can make it in a larger portion. It becomes a great starter as well. Okay. So you could do it as a starter. Fantastic. All we need to do is blend it up into a pulp. And it won't look particularly attractive, but the smells that come off those tomatoes as you blend them is amazing. And then bring that back over here.
Yep.
Perfect. And put the whole thing into a bowl with a muslin cloth over the top.
Right.
Okay, and all we're going to do is strain off all of the liquid and leave the tomato pulp behind. So the whole lot in there.
Okay.
As you say, it doesn't look great now.
No.
But the smell, really fresh.
I can smell the basil. That's the main thing that I can smell, actually.
Basil, a little bit of tomato, the garlic's coming through as well.
Yeah,
kind of gazpacho, or like all the smells of a panzanella salad. What we're going to do is gather it together, and you've got a bit of string there.
I have.
Can you just tie it around the top? Perfect, nice and tight. The important thing here is not to squeeze the bag. You want it to naturally drip all those juices out, but without actually pushing the pulp through. Okay. So tie it around here, and then this bit you tie around a shelf in the fridge.
Right.
And put the bowl underneath. And what will naturally drip out is a very clear but very strong tomato flavour liquid. That's our consommé, okay? But you don't want the pulp inside. Leave it in the fridge overnight, and what you're left with is this clear liquid, which I've already taken some out and set in a jelly so we can show you what it looks like, but all the rest of that can go away. This is tomato pulp in there, so you can still use that in a sauce or a stock. It's got loads of flavour, just not any good for this dish at this point. We've got the important bit out, which is our liquid. And with that consommé, we now need to set it with gelatin. So, cold water, and if you can just place a couple of leaves into there, to soak.
Now, we've done some canapés before on Feel Good Food, and they were based around Christmas canapés, but actually, they were perfect for any time of the year.
Yeah, it was a mushroom pâté and a smoked salmon bellini, but they are perfect for any time of the year, but what they are is simple and impressive food. And then I've got a little bit of hot water, just a very small amount that's nice and warm, and soaked gelatin can go into there.
No need to dry it out.
Squeeze out a little bit of liquid and then get it in there, and that will just dissolve in the hot water. And as soon as that's all dissolved and there's no lumps of gelatin left, it can go into our cold tomato consommé, and that is tomato jelly ready to set.
Amazing. So how long does that need in the fridge?
That needs about 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
You can set them in whatever you like. We've got little shot glasses, always great canapé ideas, slightly bigger. You could go for a whole kind of glass dish if you want to do a starter size, but as long as they get poured into there and go into the fridge, they will set up into your tomato jelly. In the meantime, Jamie, we're going to serve on top of our tomato jelly a crab chive crème fraîche with some fennel.
Nice.
Okay, so just basically 4 ingredients. If you can mix our crab, this is tin crab, into our crème fraîche.
Could you use fresh crab?
You could do. We've used crab before in Feel Good Food in an amazing crab and lobster salad.
That was great.
But again, it uses tin crab. It's good quality tin crab. Okay, and it's always on hand, so you can use it whenever you like. And if you can take some chives.
Yes.
And just finely chop those up. There's a little knife on the side. And I'm going to do the same with fennel. Some very, very thin slices.
As we come to the end of this canapé, what's the second canapé going to be?
We're also going to do some Thai fish bites, okay, which traditionally would be fried, but for Feel Good Food, we're going to show you how you can keep all of that sort of oil and grease out and bake them so they're light, healthy, but with the same flavour.
Oh, brilliant.
There you go in there. A little bit of salt and pepper, and mix that up with just a squeeze of lemon juice.
And this is just going to sit on top of the jelly, is it?
Yes, absolutely. Now we've raced ahead on this dish so we can show you all of the steps.
Wow.
But once you've blitzed up your tomato, you've strained it through the muslin, you've set it with gelatin, put it in the fridge, you end up with tomato jelly.
That actually looks like tomato jelly. That's quite incredible.
And then some of this really tasty, but light because of the low-fat crème fraîche crab mixture.
I'm going to be honest with you, I've never seen a canapé like this before.
They are quite large as canapés go, but they're certainly different. So that's the first of them. Very, very simple, but they will get that impressive wow factor. But now we can move on to the second Feel Good Food canapé, which is baked Thai fish bites. And to do that, we need these ingredients, and you'll see there's absolutely no fat in this. What would normally be blending all these ingredients and frying them, we're going to do exactly the same, but bake them.
Perfect.
Okay, so get our blender back over.
Yep.
And all of these ingredients go in. So this is skinned and pin-boned fish.
Yep.
Any white fish. We've got some cod here, but you can use whatever you've got. All these rest of the ingredients go in. So if you can peel and begin to slice some of those, I'll do the chilli.
You're only saying that for one reason.
You like to put a lot of heat in these, and I know these are warm, so just a little bit of chilli, some fresh coriander, spring onions, already taken off the outside layers. All we're going to do is add in those bits. Add in some zest of lime. We want to keep this fairly dry, so no juice at this point, and 1 egg. The egg will also help to bind it a little bit. A little splash of fish sauce, and that's kind of the seasoning. It's very salty, it's kind of fermented flavour. A little chunk of fresh ginger, just peeled, and then lid on, and blend it all up to a smooth paste. And then I've got a baking tray, which I've lined with some baking paper or silicone paper, because now what you'd normally do is roll this, maybe a little bit of flour and fry it, but today all we need to do is take small blobs and place them, just bite-sized amounts, onto our tray.
Okay.
And they will then bake, and later on they come off the tray, nice and easy, and we end up with Thai fish bites.
How many do you reckon this serves?
Both of these recipes will make plenty for about 20.
20 people?
20 people. Because obviously with the canapé you don't have many.
No.
1 or 2 of each will be fine. Last few of these, and then Jamie, you've got an oven preheated at 200 degrees Celsius.
I hope so.
And these can go in. Now you can bake them just as they are, or I like a little finishing touch, the only oil and fat we're going to add to this, a little drizzle of sesame oil, just over the top, literally a blob on each one, like that. And it's just for flavour, for fragrance, it just helps a little bit of golden colour. And then they can go into an oven about 10 minutes, 200 degrees Celsius, and both canapés will be ready. And after just 10 minutes, you're left with these. Now a little bit of the fish protein so it seeps out of them, but that's not a problem because the bits we want are these little morsels here. We just transfer them to a dish. We're serving with a little bit of sweet chilli.
Lovely.
For a couple of things, one, a nice dip, nice flavour, nice sweetness, but also the colour on the plate. Talking of colour, you've got some coriander there. You just pick a few single leaves and just dress them on there, because canapés are all about making things look great. Because people want them to taste amazing in just one mouthful, but look good too. And there we go, 2 feel-good food, fishy canapés. They look impressive, but they're super lean. There we go. Start with the tomato jelly with crab crème fraîche. Tell us what you think. Savoury jelly, you questioned it.
Wow. I understand that tomato jelly doesn't seem like the best thing to serve up to guests, but it is incredible. It really is amazing.
Something a bit different.
Yeah.
And it becomes a talking point. Now, how about the Thai bites? We'll use your Thai flavours, but baked this time.
I love Thai food anyway. I don't really need selling on this at all.
It's really good, and you still got a slight spice in there,
Yeah.
but all the flavours. It's not going to blow your head off.
No. Well, you could if you put more chilli in it.
You could if you put more chilli
Yeah.
in it. And if you want more feel-good food, then make sure you're subscribed to Body Talk.
And if you want all the recipe ingredients for these dishes, then make sure you head to sortedfood.com.
A watermelon and feta salad. It's super nutritious and healthy because we're also going to put in some pumpkin seeds. Gently toss it together. You know, you're in the hands and then just gently toss them all together. You don't want to break up that feta too much more.
Barbecues are usually about the meat. That's why everybody goes to a barbecue.